The Betrayed.
Welcome back to The Betrayed. I'm Gina.
This is Drew.
Thank you for listening. Thank you for liking. Thank you for commenting and subscribing. I really appreciate y'all.
Yeah, thank you all. I love seeing all the feedback, and it's really cool seeing you guys quote Gina. It cracks me up. I love it.
Yeah, our last episode, I got quoted twice. The emotional shit one, that made me laugh really hard. And then the second one was later on during a deep point in the conversation. And I really liked that. It was a really good thing to see. Thank you guys.
Yeah, I love the feedback. So how are you?
I'm doing good. Just moved into the house. Just getting things situated and decorated and feeling at home. How are you?
I'm good. I got no complaints.
That's good. I kind of have a few things I want to just start with. Did you hear that I mean, I have a ton of things that I want to talk about. I know you do too, but let's just start off with something that's not so crazy, I'd say. Let's save that for a little bit later on. But in Ohio, they are like using this rape kit for it was created in Idaho. It's a rape kit tracking system, and I wanted to touch on it because I think that that's amazing, and I think that more places should use that, and I think that why haven't they sooner? But something that really caught my eye when I saw this was they were gonna plan on they plan on using it, and it developed in Idaho, and the sexual assault survivors anonymously track processing and testing of rape kits collected as evidence. And according to reports, legislator last year approved use of a tracking system. The law also requires use by medical facilities. So I think that why not all medical facilities pick this up? And I think that more people should talk about it. And if Ohio picks it up, maybe that will spark something for other places to pick it up.
Yeah, from what I understand, actually, more states have picked it up, and at least other counties have like started developing their own. Idaho's is called iKit, and I think it's been enacted since 2016. They're
What other places have picked it up? Do you know?
I didn't see the other states, but in their statement on Idaho State Police's website, it just says states and other provinces have. I just was looking more like into their numbers. Like they had an increase of 107% in their labs once they instated this. It's been in Idaho since 2016. It was voted in 2015.
Which is
Uh,
amazing that it's been around that long.
Yeah, no. They're saying Ohio analyzed nearly 14,000 previously untested rape kits in 2018 or something like that. So, I mean
Yeah,
that seems like taxpayers' money going to good work and things like that.
that's something that people can be proud of and people can maybe talk about. And if you know that that's not in your area, you should definitely make it be in your area because those seem to be very helpful. Especially, they've been using it since 2015. That I didn't know that. That is a crazy long time. That's amazing.
No,
Like
it
I
was voted in 2015 and it was enacted into the state legislation in 2016. And they had data within the
okay.
first year. So like 2017 they already had data and stuff like that.
Right. That's amazing.
No,
Good
it's
for them. Good for Idaho. We've gotten, most of the guys that we've got while decoying has been in Idaho. So that's something that I did not know.
Yeah, it's really interesting. It never got brought. I never heard of it either, even all the times we were doing it. But yeah, it's been around for a while. It's Idaho Code Chapter 29, Title 67, Section 67 through 2919, and it says law since 2016.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
Good for you, Idaho.
yeah.
Something else that I thought was interesting was and like sad and disgusting. The drag queen that admitted that he's grooming children at story hour events.
Yeah, it's a really
What the?
weird video to watch. If people want to look him up, it's Dylan Pontiff, and I didn't hear about this when it first happened. It happened in November last year when he went in front of, I think it's like a city council or something like that. And it starts out, it doesn't seem so weird at first, and then he starts like using the terms grooming and things like that, and it just red flags start going from there for me. Like
And when I told you about this, didn't you mention that someone else had said like the same thing or similar to the same
there was
thing?
another person, I forget what her name was. She was actually she wasn't a drag queen. She was a transgender, and she was doing story time in New York, I believe. And she was been arrested recently for molesting children.
Wow.
Yeah,
Good.
yeah.
Glad that they got caught and arrested. But yeah, well when they had admitted this is going to be the grooming of the next generation. We're trying to groom the next generation, said Pontiff, who when dressed in drag goes by the name Santana Pilar Andrews.
Yeah, this is in Lafayette, Louisiana. So that was the video you'll see him. He's not in his drag queen. He just looks like a dude. But it's at
Mhm.
their city council.
He said, I can go in and entertain adults in a club and also entertain a group of students and young children. I'm able to do that because I'm an adult and able to filter myself. Okay. He said, unfortunately, the Drag Queen Story Hour program is turning public libraries into platforms to advance the transgender revolution, places where pro homosexual activists are given access to children as young as 3, said John Ritchie, director of TFP Student Action. And instead of protecting the precious innocence of our children with the wholesome stories, libraries are missing our tax dollars to harm their innocence, he said. To attempt to dismantle and destroy the distinction between male and female is not only biologically ridiculous, but also a direct attack against God's plan for us and for the family. Everyone who loves the family should wake up, pray, and push back. Now, I could say like, okay, that's his opinion, but for one, everybody has a right to, I'm pro choice, do what you want to do with you
Yep,
know,
same with me.
whatever. And so it's one thing to go do a story time because you love children and you want to be around children, but this man is doing it for the wrong reasons. He's specifically talking about grooming them. And like that just really irks me because you are you're taking innocence away from children in
They're
somewhere that's like the most innocent place that they can be
they're
is a library.
sexualizing innocence, which is like really weird that it seems to be like because his whole thing was like it's hidden behind like a mask of like standing up for lesbian and gay rights and stuff like that. But it's when he starts it, the conversation just immediately turns dark when he starts using the word grooming. Just the way he talks and everything like that. It's really weird.
Yeah, I guess homosexual activist Michael Swift wrote in 1987 in the Gay Community News that school children would become explicit targets for homosexual indoctrination. We shall seduce them in your schools. They will be recast in our image, and they will come to crave and adore us, he wrote
See
at the
that
time.
that just sounds like a very small group of like extremist homosexuals, I guess. I don't know what else to call them. Like that's not that doesn't represent the majority of a gay community. I don't believe that at
Not
all.
at all.
Like I just
No.
I that's
That's definitely a opinion of one and or very few. It's not mass majority, and you can't pinpoint that on that could be anybody that. So that's just
it's
but I hope that if they're using, you know, their ability to be able to be in libraries and be around children and do things for their community, that they're doing it for the right reasons. You shouldn't that should be the main focus is get this guy out of libraries if he's talking about grooming children.
well, a lot of people have the misconception because the way the media portrays it, like it's some centralized group that's starting these book hours, and it's really not. And I doubt there's any thorough background checks because there's been throughout the nation. There's been, I mean, recently there was one where the drag queen flashed the entire crowd of kids. So
Right.
there just seems to be an issue, and it seems like probably that community needs to speak up and be like, these people don't represent us, because that's how it looks to everybody else right now. I mean,
Right.
at least that's how they're smearing it, and especially in those like crazy religious type things, because they instantly start turning anti-gay, and it's like that's not the focus here. This is weirdos trying to get to children.
Disgusts me really. Um, Something I want to talk about just to, I guess, lighten the conversation from what we just talked about. What do you think about the new Tesla truck that came out? Because
Ah,
we started to kind of talk about this last night, and I wanted
all
to
right.
wait to hear your opinion on the pod.
The Tesla truck to me looks like Elon Musk was playing way too much like Halo or Minecraft. Now, I'm one of the few petrol heads that will honestly say that internal combustion engines are on their way out. Electric motors are going to, they are supreme already. There's instant torque, unlimited torque and power technically. I was more impressed with the electric ATV. It's weird looking. People are going to buy them. I don't I think you're better off buying the Mercedes SUV EV that just got launched.
So you like the Mercedes more than both?
Um, I don't like the look of the Tesla truck at all. I don't. If
Mm.
people want to like it, that's fine. For me, it just is really ugly. Like it just is. There's no angle on it to me that looks good. I just for that because I think it's like $112,000 or something like that. I think if you're going to be spending that much money for an off-road EV, I would trust the Germans more than Elon Musk. Like the Tesla build quality is not great, and like I love Elon Musk. I think he's a strange dude, but I think he's brilliant. I love SpaceX. I love all that type of stuff. Um, I like where he's going. He's pushing other companies. He made EVs cool. I mean, I think a lot of things, but that truck's hideous to me. What do you think?
I think the Tesla truck would be badass if it actually like looked like a truck and like had, you know, had could carry stuff in the back like a truck. Like you can jack it up and have a lifted Tesla truck. That would be so badass. I would love that. I'd like the Tesla truck though. It does remind me of Halo. So I feel like if it was like the end of the world, zombies are coming, I would go find me a Tesla truck, and I would hope that Elon by then has a portable charger, so like we can charge and drive at the same time and shit like that. Because
I
that would be
I
the
think
perfect
I think
truck for
what
that scenario.
personally like a lot of people don't realize that electric charging stations outnumber gas stations in Japan. Like Nissan, Toyota, Honda already have EV
Oh
cars
yeah,
on lock. I don't personally
yeah.
think Tesla is going to be around more than another decade. I think he's going to move on. He's too brilliant. The company is going to it's not doing great. They've had a lot of problems with Tesla. He's an interesting
I
guy.
I
I
I
like
can I disagree. I disagree with that. I think that he's gonna make it like his baby, and he's gonna make it better and better and better, and he's gonna keep working hard at it until it's something that
I don't think it's his baby
like.
anymore because he doesn't focus as much on it. I think his still drive is like getting to Mars and those type of things. And
Oh
those are
yeah, oh yeah. Mars
that's
is his main focus, but I think that he still. I don't know. I think he was. You know what's his other company? Board
the Boring
Board
Company.
company or
Yeah,
boring, not board
that's the
boring.
company that's building the underground tunnels for the mass transit stuff here in California. I mean, he's got the approval for some of it. Um,
I
but
just saw that
that's for
on
the
one of his documentaries.
yeah. He's a very interesting guy. Like I'm more impressed
But the
with
flamethrower,
yeah.
you see that he made that. That was pretty cool.
No, that's the thing.
But he didn't. He only made a certain amount, right?
Yeah, but if that's kind of the cool thing with the Cybertruck, that's going to be an option when you buy one, is you can get a flamethrower, and I think that's the only way you can get one right now.
Really?
Yeah, and it probably will be for a little bit. Like they've got some cool ideas. I hope if
That's
Tesla,
cool.
I hope someone like a better company comes in and tries to operate because he's even admitted that he underestimated like protocols from the automotive industry and things like that. Like they made mistakes. my favorite car from it was the original one that was based off a Lotus. I still think that one looks 1,000 times better than any of his other cars. But the Cybertruck's cool. I think he's gonna come out with another one. I think this was just a way to get everyone's
Yeah,
attention.
I think he was having fun.
Yeah, yeah, and I
And
think
he didn't
people.
even do no really marketing or really promoting with it. It was all through social media,
Oh,
which
well,
is
he
really
had he
cool
had a
too.
pretty
It
nightmare.
shows the power of social media, which is awesome.
Yeah, he had the one night because it's sad that it what happened with his demo with the glass because if the windows are locked into place, they are actually very resistant. But they did the demo, and you can
Yeah.
actually watch the video. The windows actually shift just a little bit, and it's just enough to where the strength of that glass isn't what it's supposed to be because they have to be completely
Hmm.
closed, and they were banging on the doors before that. But
Sure.
he took it good. I don't know. It is what it is. I think I'm more excited
What
about.
about him going to Mars? What do you think about him going to Mars? You think he's gonna
Oh, he'll do it. He'll do it in his lifetime. I mean, The Rock.
yeah,
Everyone's giving him crap because he had the
I
issue.
think he will too.
Well, the rocket's going through R&D that he's testing. I think it's out in Texas is where it's at, and it just they had a failure on the launch pad, or I think it was just at a
He's
wasn't
gonna
even
take that Tesla truck on Mars and he's gonna laugh at everybody.
maybe maybe I don't know.
The ATV.
He's
I
got
think he's
a
so funny.
he's a pretty brilliant guy. He's a weird guy, but he's brilliant. You can't deny that. He's got a lot of heart, I think, still for how rich he is. I don't think he's an evil dude. I think he's got good intentions.
Yeah, if you guys listening, if you haven't checked out his documentaries, and you should check it out. I think he has like two or three on YouTube. Just type his name, or we'll link him in the description below. And yeah, they're pretty interesting to watch his life from being a kid into where he's at now and what he wants to do in the future.
Oh yeah, he's got totally got a story of overcoming a bunch of stuff. He's a living American dream, really. I mean, came from nothing, and he's one of the richest, smartest men in the world now. I mean, most successful for sure.
So, did you hear about the woman selling her baby on Craigslist?
Well, I don't even know if it's a woman really, but yeah, it's pretty weird. It's
Pretty sure it's a
did
woman.
do you want me to read the post?
Go for it.
All right, so this was on Craigslist. I forget what state it was in, but the post
Florida.
it was Florida. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, it was.
Yeah.
This is what the post said. Baby is 2 weeks old. It sleeps. Don't make noise at night. The ad reads. Formula and clothes will give it to you. Can give you the baby 4-year-old sister for free.
It's not funny, but it was
It
only funny because they said you see that mess up in the grammar there? He didn't just say that. She wrote don't. Don't make noise at night. Just like really, lady.
um
And it also states though, don't judge me. She works right. She works at a children and family, or yeah, the Department of Children and Families. I don't want to be judged for not wanting the kids.
yeah, she also was quoted as saying she lives in a quite influential neighborhood. And it's like this is what makes me think that this is a hoax. Like you got people that are dropping really bad grammar and then the other half is like actually using proper grammar and context.
Or they're just that's just who they are. Police are still investigating the situation, so we'll keep you guys updated as we'll
Well,
try to
the
find
Florida
out as much as
Department
we
of
know.
Children do have like one kind of update. Gretel Passenger said, our Hellsinger, on Friday they have identified a person of interest. So I mean, maybe they at least know where the post came from. So I'm sure we'll
Good.
if it's serious, we probably won't hear anything. If it's a hoax, you'll probably hear it pretty quick.
Right. And I looked up similar situations to this, and if it's happened, and it happened once before in Tennessee, a couple put their baby up on Craigslist for $3,000 and they got arrested for it.
Oh, they did. Oh, that's so disgusting. That's so it turns my stomach. Just people.
How could you sell your baby on Craigslist? Like,
How can you put a
what
price
and
on
what makes
human
you think
life?
that that's okay? Yeah.
I just people with no, they're just those are soulless people. Like even if you don't believe in God or anything like that, they're just those people have no soul. Like it's putting a price on human life. That's so gross.
Did you see that the man accused of posing as a cop, he was like trying to rape women? He was 46 years old. His name was Walter Earl Darling, and he pulled over a car in his personal vehicle with emergency lights and then forced his way inside the car. And the investigator said that Darling made the victim drive to an unknown location where he tried to rape her. The woman was able to get away and call for help, though, and deputies said that Darling was identified in a photo lineup and admitted to investigators that he committed the crimes.
Hey,
Good. He should be put away for
yeah,
a
you
long
sent me
time.
that
He
article.
was charged with. Go ahead.
No, yeah, I said you sent me that article. I just couldn't even believe that. So if that girl got away, how many times has he gotten? Has he done it and not been caught? You know what I mean? He seemed pretty comfortable with it.
Yeah, he was charged with attempted rape, attempted sodomy. Is it sodomy?
Sodomy, sodomy.
Sodomy.
Yeah.
People are gonna make fun of me in the comments. Do it, make fun of me. Unlawful imprisonment and impersonating a peace officer.
Sorry to laugh.
uh,
That's pretty disgusting. At least he got caught. I mean, that's the good thing. At least you're not hearing like sodomist on the loose or anything like that.
yeah, yeah. And if he ever was to get away with it, I hope the women come forward and get justice from themselves, because that is super. Like, I couldn't imagine getting pulled over and having to go through that.
Well,
They're the
hopefully.
people that are supposed to protect you. And also, if it's not a cop car, don't pull over.
Yeah. Especially if you're a female, you
Yeah.
can use that excuse. I feel like I didn't know, even if it was like an undercover cop or something. Wait till it's a patrol
Yeah,
car.
right? Yeah. What's interesting is a Memphis man was recently sentenced to 371 years on rape charges. That is the kind of punishment that they all need to get. I hate it when they get a slap on the wrist or
Well, the
they're on
crazy thing is
probation.
he had a juvenile record where he raped an 8 and 5 year old. So he
So he
already,
already got a slap on the
yeah,
wrist.
so he already had, like, they already knew he was a dangerous criminal. And they said what were the years that he operated from? They said between 2013 and 2016 he broke into multiple homes across the city from Cordova to Raleigh, southeast Memphis. If I'm mispronouncing that, I'm fucking sorry. Often gaining access through sliding glass doors or windows. He'd carry a knife or gun, and most of the time he would terrorize and rape the women living there. In two cases where the women were raped, their babies were just feet away.
Wow. Yeah, he pleaded guilty in September to 5 counts of aggravated rape, 11 counts of aggravated burglary, and 2 counts of aggravated robbery, 4 counts of employment of a firearm in the commission of a dangerous felony, and 1 count each of identity theft, attempted aggravated rape, theft of property over $1,000, and theft of property under $500.
Did you see the quotes?
Prosecutor.
Oh, I'm sorry. Keep going.
I was just going to say, prosecutors say the crimes spanned 15 victims in a dozen separate incidents.
Did you see the quotes from her sister or his sister?
Oh, yeah. Want to read them?
Yeah, yeah. She said this is his sister, Tarlisha Carey. When he was a child, he was molested. They didn't get him help he needed. The state failed him. So she's blaming his sexual misconduct on the state.
Can you blame the state, do you think?
I think you could blame the state in the fact that if he was raping an 8 year old and a 5 year old in 1998, there should have been. I don't know how, but maybe there's no way to do that. I don't know how you register a minor as a sexual offender. I don't. Maybe back then in '98 they weren't able to
That's a
charge.
good thing to talk about, though. Minors do offend. There are a lot of instances where children, they
A lot of
you
molestation
know,
cases are cousins, older cousins, and with a younger one, stuff like that.
and siblings and step siblings and stuff like that. And even I saw a case where it was an uncle, but they were on the same age as his nephew because of it. It was like through marriage or something, something like that. And which is scary too. You know, it's not like, oh, you think that you just can't leave your kid around any man, is what most people might think. But it's man, woman, grandma, kids. You gotta pay attention to your children, period. You don't know what's going on behind closed doors. And people are gonna say, grandma, while doing a lot of decoying and stuff, I had someone come to me with a story of theirs, and a grandma and an aunt had been touching the young boy. So it literally can be anybody.
Wow. I've never heard you even tell that story before. That's crazy.
Yeah, it can be anyone, like literally. And so it's just you just got to pay attention to your kids and really trust who you leave your kids with. But in this instance, I'm glad that he got 371 years and didn't just get a slap on the wrist the first time. Or like the first time, excuse me.
Well, yeah, he'll tell he's never getting out again, but it's really sad that he was able to. I mean, because I read it also in one of the articles, they were saying the police absolutely believe he has other victims. They just haven't came forward yet because there's no way someone like this who's a serial rapist is just have these blank years of not raping people. That's scary.
Right.
I mean, I can't even just dehumanizing someone like that is just so disgusting. It's just ugh.
It really is. Something that I've been wanting to talk about for a little bit now, since it came out, really. But recently I saw an article that now ex model has came forward and accused Jeffrey Epstein of rape in 1993. So it happened more than 25 years ago, and it's still like there's so many other alleged victims and stuff like that that are coming forward, and I guess the story's being followed right now, and there will be a following up, which I'll be paying attention to. But I wanted to bring that up because that's the most recent thing that's happened that I saw. I think I saw that yesterday or the day before, and so I just kind of wanted to get like your thoughts and opinions on the whole Jeffrey Epstein thing altogether.
Well, I'm gonna just say it. Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself. Uh,
No, he didn't.
that this
Hashtag
is the
Jeffrey Epstein.
it's the weirdest.
Hashtag in the comments right now, everybody. Hashtag Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself.
Epstein didn't kill himself. The entire thing feels like a really fucked up movie plot. Because did you watch the video of the guys that got onto the island?
I did. I watched
Like,
it twice.
yeah, I watched it a few times too. The thing that weirded me out was how much like the temple is look straight up like a set prop when they got up close to it. The whole thing is weird.
So many questions. So
Like
many
I
questions.
don't know if we're ever going to get real answers to it because I think he was probably wrong. Like I really don't. I know everyone likes to joke it was the Clintons, but I really believe it was probably someone darker than we even think. Like that's if they
A
pulled this
lot of
off,
them.
yeah. Bill Clinton's a pussy hound and he likes young
A lot
women.
of them with the same. A lot of them with the same interests is what I think. And
Well,
I
Prince
have this.
Andrew is the scariest one. Have you watched his interviews talking about it? Because
I
that's
haven't. I've been watching a few others, but I do want to check that one out.
Prince Andrews are probably because of just how high status that guy is, they're the most disturbing because he doesn't even really deny hanging out with him at the multiple. Because the rape we just brought up, that one happened at the Manhattan mansion, and then I believe he has the island, and he had a few other spots too. And Prince Andrew traveled all over the place with him.
A lot of them did. Like, what was one of them? 26 times. I've flown in a plane a lot of
That was
times.
Bill Clinton. The roster was 24 times or something like that. I mean,
Oh, 24.
that's the alleged. I mean, we don't know 100% that those are real.
24 times in the same plane with someone though,
Yeah, the
like
Lolita,
within that time
nicknamed the
span.
Lolita Express. Yeah, it's pretty fishy. It's pretty weird. It's way more weird than the Donald Trump connections because the Donald Trump connections were a multiple group of people that owned that piece of property that they were all co-owned on. Epstein stuff is so messy, and it's almost like the JFK thing. I don't think we're ever going to know. I think it's
Never.
I think it's always gonna be a conspiracy theory. There's always gonna be stuff around it.
Hush hush stuff. Hush
You
hush.
do have
Don't talk about it.
you do have the two guards that refused the plea agreement for accepting
Mm,
responsibility for it. So that's interesting. Be really sad if those guys suicided themselves too.
wouldn't be surprised,
It's
but
just
they didn't do it.
who knows who did it. I mean, there's so many people that were using that, and so many other wealthy people, and I don't. It's one of those subjects that, like, I'm sure if we keep doing this for another 10 years, we're gonna still be talking about it. Like, remember when we talked on episode
Right.
14 back in? Like, I don't think we're
Well,
ever
money
gonna.
talks, money talks, and if a lot of these people that hung out with Jeffrey Epstein have a lot of money, and it's sad and it's crazy, and it's very interesting, and a lot of people are talking about it, and they're not going to stop talking about it, and you shouldn't stop talking about it. But the sad thing is, we're not going to get the answers that we want ever, ever, ever. But
We'll
at
never,
least the least
even
that
if.
we can do.
Oh, I'm sorry. Keep going.
I was just gonna say the least that we could do is keep highlighting it. You know, don't let them keep it hush.
I I mean, it's become a meme. I mean, I don't like it's almost ingrained into internet culture. It probably always will be.
Exactly.
I
Yeah. Good.
but the sad thing is even if we got more answers, we'll never know 100% because the main guy that perpetrated it is gone. And
Right. So how do you think he died? What's your thought?
oh, I mean, the cameras were mysteriously off. I think they probably paid off the guards, maybe something like that, and they just shut everything down. Someone went in and choked him to death. I mean, they could have used a whole. I, they don't necessarily had to use their hands. I mean, they could have used a bunch of different items to choke him, even down to a belt or something like that. I mean, I because you had the second autopsy report, one of the bones that is broken like can't be broken unless it's like strangulation or something like that from like someone
Mm-hmm.
actually doing it. It's weird. I don't. It's weird. Dark. It's really really dark.
Definitely someone else did it. Is all I think. I don't know. I've never lived that deep into it of how or who or what, but I just know that it wasn't him, and they were paid a lot.
They were either paid or blackmailed. I mean, they could have been corrupt guards that
Oh
could
yeah,
be.
they could have been blackmailed,
Yeah, I mean, they could have been
right?
corrupt guards that could have been losing their pension. You know, all these COs, most of them are pretty decent guys and have families, and it could have been the bad ones that have a family and do care about their family enough to keep their job or something like that.
Do you think that Jeffrey Epstein had a lot of like footage and stuff like that from the from like them being with the younger girls, and he used that as blackmail on the men of
That's one of the
higher
main
power
theories.
as well,
That's what's one
to
of the
be in
main.
their pocket?
It's one of the main theories that people have is that he would slowly introduce them to younger and younger and younger, whether it be boys or girls. I'm guessing mainly girls, but I'm sure boys were involved. And then slowly introduce you to whatever that taboo thing is, and then see who bites for certain things, and then when they figure that out, figure out what they can use and what their position, what they're worth. They probably do film it. They probably don't film everything. I don't know. I would guess for how long it was going on and considering the slaps on the wrists he got from Florida, wasn't it, when he was first arrested in like the early 2000s? He definitely had a lot of people in his pocket, but that doesn't necessarily like the pedophilia thing is real, but he was more than just that. There was women of age too. Like they weren't all underage. Like the 93 rape we talked about, that was she was 21 and she was quoted as saying she recalled how he made her feel embarrassed and ashamed and stupid. And then he got irritated, almost angry when she told him that he was 21. He said something like, "You're too old. You're too old. You're getting too old for this. What are you doing?" And she later on said it was crushing and alarming. It is weird. All of it's really weird. It sounds like a really bad movie because I mean, it's like Pedo Island and all those type of things. Like it sounds like a cheesy.
I can name off like 10 things going on right now. That sounds like a really bad movie.
That's
It is
true.
so messed up. Like a weird simulation or something weird going on with all this stuff around us that's going on.
We could
Ugh.
transition the subject a little bit. This I don't know if this is positive or negative, and I'd like to see what people would. Oh, we got two opinions here. So we talked about this a little bit. Male contraceptive. I dug into it a little bit. The articles are a little misleading. They make it sound like it's going to be available in America in 6 months. It's going to be available in India in 6 months. That's where all the testings are on is going on. What they do is they inject a polymer into your vas deferens, and depending on if you have two balls or one ball, you have one or two. The the polymer is called styrene malic anhydride. It has a 97.3% success rate and no reported side effects so far. And they're at phase 3, which has 303 candidates they've already used. And when
Wow.
once you're injected, it's a pretty short procedure. I think they just you don't have to go completely under. It's good for up to 13 years, and it basically
That is
blocks the
such a long
ducts that
time.
go from your testes that your sperm travels to your urethra, and they just block it.
Would you get it?
Yeah, yeah. I
I'm
don't want
pro-choice.
kids.
I feel like everybody.
I don't want kids. I have fucked up genetics, so I don't want kids. Like, yeah, the
Mm,
more and more I read on it, there's like not really any. So the polymer's been out since the 70s. Like, it's not like some new substance and stuff like that. So it's gonna, yeah, I would do it. I think women
yeah,
do enough to themselves, especially with the amount of like hormone chemicals and stuff like that that they do for contraceptive for women. I mean, why not guys step up sometimes? Especially something simple like this. Fuck, dude, you're just gonna get a piece of plastic put in your balls, whatever.
right. So is there going to be side effects to it
They
or
say like this
no?
is what it
Like,
said in the stats, and I read a couple different things. They all said 97.3% success rate and no reported side effects through 300 people already. And
oh, okay.
the medical research team in India that's doing it is pretty legit. If you type it in, you can find up a bunch of stuff. We can link some stuff in the descriptions.
Well, that's cool that there will be no side effects. I mean, as long as it's not going to harm you guys, then do it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know enough about human anatomy if that like is that going to change like rape statistics? Like, are guys like not going to leave any DNA evidence now? Like that I
Mm.
think those type of things I think need to be thought about. But
I'm sure there's probably going to be a lot more testing going into it, right? Before or no?
no, there's that's just for the trials in India for it to go public there, and then it has to go through the FDA and all that here. So there's going to be way more
Yeah,
testing
that'd be
done on it.
interesting to see
Yeah, I mean, I don't. I think contraceptive is a good thing, and if
for
you got
sure.
something that guys can step up.
Pro safe sex for sure. Hashtag pro safe sex.
Absolutely. But yeah, if guys can step up, I mean, why not? Fuck it.
And hashtag virginity rocks. I'm just quoting Danny Duncan. I had to. If you guys don't know who Danny Duncan is, you guys should go watch his content. He's super funny. I want to get some of his merch.
His merch is really popular, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. That's pretty cool.
Crazy people make a living like that.
Yeah. He's a YouTuber, uh, but I think he doesn't even really make a lot of money from his content because it's so controversial, and out there and crazy. So he makes most of his money from
Endorsements.
merch and yeah, and sponsorships, brand deals, stuff like that. And I'm pretty sure by now, with all the money, like, and he goes on tour too. He makes music, so I'm pretty sure with a lot of the money that he's made by now, he probably has invested in some things outside, done some things outside of YouTube, so he doesn't have to just rely on his audience, um, which is pretty cool. It's cool that you can build, you know, something from nothing and then be able just to be your own boss.
No, it's awesome. He lives an awesome life. Anyone that hates on it is just jealous. I mean, good for him.
He's got some of the funniest content. I swear you will not stop laughing when you watch some of his
Yeah,
videos.
any of the stuff you've
So,
linked me to before is always funny. Like, it's not something that I religiously watch, but it's like I understand why people like this. Like, it's good content.
yeah, well, I think that's all we have for this podcast, unless you'd like to touch on anything else.
No, that's all I got today.
Well, thank you guys for listening. Thank you for liking, commenting, and subscribing. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. And this has been a great episode. And I can't wait to do our next casual cast. I have some other great things that I want to talk about, but we've been just waiting so that we can gather some more information on those things. We have some awesome guests coming. If you'd like to be a guest on The Betrayed, make sure to hit up our Instagram. It'll be in the description below. Love y'all. Banana Cats.
Much love. Banana cats. Epstein didn't kill himself.